Well, if you have always been like the weak kid in your class, right, and you have these sometimes you have these arm wrestling matches in your class and you never win. Today I'm going to share with you how you can actually win arm wrestling matches against stronger opponents. Now, this will not work against opponents that are very strong compared to you, but the opponents that are slightly stronger than you, this will work against, right? And you are literally going to win all of those matches if you just use the two tricks that I'm going to tell you today. So, the first thing that is the most important part is the hand placement, right? What we normally do in arm wrestling matches, you know, as like the weak guy, right? You know what you would probably do, because I used to do this too when I was small. When I was not that weak, I was skinny. So like the opponent places the arm, right, and he gets ready for the match, and you just like you put your arm like this, and you just hold his arm, right? You get in contact with his palm. That is the worst thing to literally do. You don't do that. Even though you are weak, right? You're gonna act confident in this situation because this will help you. This will help you to win the match. So you place your arm first on the table, right? Make sure that happens, because the most important point is what this does is if I place my arm first, the opponent is going to make contact. So he is going to shift towards my body, right? What happens is in this situation, I have control. If he shifts towards my body, right? If I shift towards my opponent's body, then it's going to be like I lose control here because I am far away from my arm, right? And how do you place your arm at the table? This is the most important part. You place your arm as vertical as it can be. Now, it shouldn't be like obviously this, you cannot just make it like this, but like a slight, you know, a slight degree of rotation, right? So it should be as vertical as possible, and your palm should be also vertical, because if you put it like this, right, horizontal, I can't just, it's not that easy comparatively for me to rotate the opponent's wrist if my palm is vertical. So if I keep it vertical, right, if I keep it vertical, it's the rolling motion is easier because my wrist is already used to this kind of motion. My wrist is not used to something like this. It's used to something like this, right? So that's why I keep my palm vertical so that it's easier for me to roll, right? I can roll, and if I get the wrist, right, I get the advantage. So the two main things to remember is like place your arm first. Well, the three main things: place your arm the first at the table, right? So the opponent comes in contact with your arm, right? Second, keep your forearm as vertical as possible, and third, keep your palm also vertical, like in line with your forearm, right? And well, actually, a fourth thing to add to, keep your body closer to your arm, right? If you keep your body closer to your arm, what is going to happen is you're going to use your shoulders, your chest, your biceps, your forearms, all of these together to roll. Like this creates like a talk, a very good like rolling motion, right? It just goes like this. But if I do it like this, right, if I do the opposite, complete opposite, I place the arm second, I come in contact with the opponent's hand, and my arm is completely open like this, it's not straight, and let's say my palm is horizontal, right? What I'm doing is I literally don't have the wrist rotating power. I have already lost control because my forearm is like open, right? And now I'm literally going to use all of that power from my bicep, because none of it is going to be for my forearm. Like forearm, it will be involved a little bit, but most of it will go to the bicep, right? And like there's no shoulder power, there's no chest. You're just like completely on your bicep. Now, if you're strong, if you have like a very strong bicep, it will work for you. But since you're weak, right, this shit will not work for you. This will be like a very bad situation where you won't be able to pull the opponent, right? Anyways, so place your arm first, keep it as vertical as possible, keep your palm also vertical, and keep your body close to your hand. This will make it easier to win the match. The second tip is that whenever you like arm wrestling in like in like your school, in your college, right? Mostly it's gonna be in like a sitting position. It is like rarely are you going to like stand and like arm wrestle. Well, that is officially what is done, right? You in like a official arm wrestling match is mostly just people standing and arm wrestling, but you don't usually do that in schools and colleges. You mostly just sit and arm wrestle. So the second tip, this one is like actually the more important one compared to like that hand placement thing. So this is like a cheat code, right? The hand placement thing was like a this is like a legit trick that actually like even professionals use to win arm wrestling matches. But like the second tip, right? This is gonna be like a cheat code that actually works in like schools and colleges, right? So you're in a sitting position, right? So the point is to maximize your chances of your success and to have the advantage of the situation, what you're gonna do is, if let's say for example I'm using my right hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit like this. Okay, so my legs are facing towards the left and I'm using my right hand. What this does is, if I arm wrestle like this, right, it's easier for me to pull an opponent towards my body, right? Like this will just go easier, right? What if I do the opposite of this? I'm using my right hand and I'm facing my legs towards the left. Now what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna place my arm like this, right? Even if we do follow the like the first trick, right, the hand placement thing, right? What happens is we are in a bad situation here, right? It's not like I'm pulling the opponent towards my body. Now it's like I'm pushing the opponent away from my body, and this is going to be very hard. And since you are already weak, this will just make the situation worse. So you're just going to lose, right? Like you can make like the choice of sitting straight, but that's not the point. If I like sit straight, then it's like a neutral position. Like hand placement thing, okay, you already got the advantage by the hand placement, but like still you are like at a kind of a disadvantage because you're already weak, right? So this will not maximize your chances of success. Like the thing that you want to remember first is, right, the hand that you are using, right, you have to face your legs in the opposite direction of that hand. Somehow you need to find like a way to do it in like your school or your college, right? So this is like a complete cheat code, right? You like face your legs towards the left, and you when you're using a right hand, and you just pull like this. And if you're using a left hand, well, you face your legs towards the right. Now it's going to be easier to just pull the opponent towards your body than to like do this kind of thing where you're just pushing your opponent away from your body. So like these are like the main two tips that you can use to win arm wrestling matches, and this will make you like win 50% more matches, and I can guarantee you that even with slightly stronger opponents compared to you, right? If you use them correctly. But just remember, hand placement completely vertical. Forearm, place your arm first at the table, palm vertical, and keep your body close. And the hand that you are using, face your legs to the opposite direction of that. The second tip is the most important one, right? You can like go without the first one, you can just like keep your arm like open, but the second tip will be the most important one because that just makes arm wrestling matches so much easier. Because from experience, right, I have done this shit, right? I have faced my legs to the opposite side and I've played like this. And I've literally lost to opponents that were weaker than me. So like that is how bad it gets when you like do this shit, right? That is how bad it gets. So you should always face your legs towards the opposite side of the hand that you're using. But let's see, in some situation, let's say you're standing, right? You're not sitting. So like that advantage quite won't work. So if you're like standing, what you can do is, right, you need to do like this. Like your legs should be like your body, right? Not your legs. This time it's not your leg. Your right leg should be in front if like you're using a right hand, and vice versa. And what your body should be facing towards the left. So that's the same thing. It's the same logic, but it is not quite of a big advantage when you're standing. Right? When you're sitting, it's like a very big advantage. So these are like the two tricks that you have to keep in mind, and you're gonna literally win more arm wrestling matches than ever. And I guarantee you that, even with slightly stronger opponents. Thanks for watching.